You both, Swell and
No, this is my first time.
okay, okay.
Yeah, this is my first as well.
Okay. So first of all, I would kindly recommend you guys to go to Eventbrite. Me, first of all, share the screen here. Go to Eventbrite and maybe you can type Testoper at Testoper, like for example, testoper.eventbrite.com. Right? If you do that, you would see the number of events that we are doing. So what you have joined today, it's called as the Testoper projects. I'll talk about what exactly in a minute. And then we also have another program that's starting. We in fact had a awesome meetup on artificial intelligence last week, Saturday. We had more than 100 plus people joining. All the events that we do, programs that we do is all uploaded in the YouTube. So you can always go back and look at it to learn. And what I wanted to really say is this 27th March, that's tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., we are starting another program called Artificial Intelligence. It starts from the basics and it takes you through. It's a 6-week session, and I'm pretty sure you're going to learn a lot. So I would kindly recommend that you register for this and join us to learn more. Right? So you can see all the different programs that we do, and you can join all the programs. By the way, all the programs are free. Right? So you don't have to pay any money, and you would get certificate of attendance, and especially this Testoper project, you will get some kind of working certificate from us to really help you if that can be useful for your career. Okay, so that's my first statement to those who have newly joined. And then the second point I'd like to really talk about is, in a very short, what is Testoper community, right? So it's a non-profit developer community. And what we try to do is we call ourselves as an open community and people-led grassroots movement. And there is no official employees or anything for this community. It is a registered non-profit for impact organization. And the whole thing runs by the volunteers, by the people, for the people, to learn from each other, help from each other, and so on. So that's the goal of this particular community. We focus on future skills and innovation, on the latest technologies like intelligent technologies like artificial intelligence, IoT, and so on. Right. So that's what the Testoper community is all about. You can always look through our websites and other places. Search for us to know more and get more people who wants to learn. We want people to convert their mindset into a continuous learning mindset. Yes, we do day-to-day job, but like I said, day starts and ends, right? But you need to prepare yourself for future, and you need to become a future workforce, or in other words, workforce of the future. And you can achieve that only if you are able to turn your mindset to a continuous learning mindset. I've been in this industry for 22 years. And I can tell you that if you ask me 1 out of 10, how much I learned from the day job, how much I learned from all these community activities, it's 1 out of 10. 1 I learned from my day job, 9 I learned from all these community activities. And the breadth of knowledge that I have and the success that I have is mainly because of all these extra activities that I try to do through continuous learning mindset. So the goal of this community is really help you guys to enable continuous learning mindset. And it is not like a session where one person teaches, another person listens. It's going to be more interactive sessions. And in fact, we encourage people to come and, because we are not an event company, right? So we don't really worry about the quality of the event. What we worry about is the people. And if anyone wants to develop their skills in presenting, teaching someone else, we encourage them to come, and we help them to train, and we help them to market and bring more people to learn together, and so on. That's what the Testoper community is all about. I really thank you both for joining, and I'm looking forward to your contribution and bringing more people coming together and learning together and succeeding together as a team. So that's my second statement before we get started on this program. And the third statement that I have is we have a closed WhatsApp group for Testoper projects. Let me see if someone has posted it here. Whoever joins the Testoper project, they can, let's see if there is anything here. Yeah, it's here. Let me copy this. So normally what we request team to do is, join this WhatsApp group and then provide their first name and last name. Then what we do is we basically add them into our collaboration platform. We use Microsoft Teams, and I'm sharing it to you guys here. You can see here Testoper community, and then all these are the different programs and different channels that we have. We really wanted people to encourage to come and help each other to post their company's job, refer and get the jobs, share questions, ask questions, or whatever. Of course, we are trying to encourage people to do that, and slowly, few of them are doing. Not many are fully engaged, and I trust over the period of time we will continue to grow on this. So even though we have more than 300 people in this community, very few are really communicating, but we want each other to communicate and benefit from each other. So once you provide your first name, last name, and email address, we will provide access to this collaboration platform. This is like a Slack, right? You can use them. And there is another channel called Testoper Projects. This is the one that we are today, the program that we are today, where we come together and we do few things. I'll talk about it in a while. Then we have another channel called Testoper Management. These are all for the people who wants to become a volunteer like me. I'm one of the volunteer. So if someone wants to become a volunteer and they wanted to be part of some of the teams like finance, legal, marketing, sales, operations, program management, strategy, technology, and things like that, they can you can express your interest, and we will get back to you to see where you would fit, and you can become a volunteer and you can help like me, many other people by doing programs and helping in many different ways. So this whole community is run by almost like 25 to 40 volunteers on and off, like me, to deliver lots of different programs for the benefit of the people as a nonprofit. We just wanted to, as the industry leaders, give back, right? And that's why we kind of formed this, and we wanted to slowly grow on this. Grow meaning not from the point of view of money, but from the point of view of helping many people to really succeed in their career, intrapreneurship and entrepreneurship aspirations coming together. So that's the goal, and I would appreciate those who are interested, right? At least those who have newly joined, you can provide your first name and last name, and we can add you into this channel. Now coming back to today's program, Testoper project. So what it is at a very high level is, we are running right now, I would say, like a pilot program, right? And we have not really advertised in social media a big way and all. We are trying to kind of start with few people, and what the goal we are trying to achieve is two things. One thing is we wanted to train them in all what is required for them to become an innovator, right? And then the second thing is we wanted them to take a lead, start building the team together, and come up with an idea and build a product and start their own company, or build a product and give back to the community for using it, whatever that you guys wanted to do. So that's what we are really trying to achieve. And we kind of started with a small group of people with 3 teams. So right now we have 3 teams headed by the first team is headed by Fionn, and second team is headed by Greg, and the third team is headed by Sandra, and she is in another meeting, but she said she will join once that meeting is complete. So that's what this Testoper project is all about. Does that make sense to everyone? This particular program is all about.
Absolutely, yeah, that makes sense.
Perfect. So I'm looking forward, Seol, I'm going to be very honest with you. Fionn or Greg, you should reach out to them, right? You can make a note of this. Once you are in the collaboration platform, you can reach out to them. Fionn, Greg, and also Sandra, right? Sandra Barbosa. Those are the 3 people who are trying to build the team together, brainstorming to come up with an idea and things like that to really take this forward, right? And build into next level. Okay, so having said that, let's get started of today's agenda. So today's agenda, first 30 minutes, it's already been 16 minutes, is to really kind of get an understanding of the challenges our team has and see what kind of an advice that we all can provide to make that team successful. So let's get started with Finn. Finn, do you want to get started?
Hi, Kedar. Yeah. So last week we had a meeting and we kind of discussed the concept questions for our idea. Since we've eventually chosen the idea of the product that helps people to do things within their homes and get help. So we discussed the concept questions from question 1 to I think 9,
Mm-hmm.
and we were able to like answer majority of the questions. So, but one idea that we came up with was to create a survey because we wanted to know how people are going to accept the product itself before we even get to the point of go or no go. So we decided maybe we should create a survey and give it to people, not necessarily people in the Testoper community, but just people like maybe our targets, people we're trying to target, like maybe working mothers, working families, and in general like a broader audience, and give them a survey and see, like ask them questions like, this kind of solution or this kind of product we're trying to create, is it something you would actually use? So we're in the process of creating the survey right now, like creating the, and in general the survey is going to be like a yes or no, agree or disagree kind of response to the survey, not like a complicated kind of questions. So we just want to know how the public is going to be accepting to the product or to the idea in itself. So we are in the process of creating the survey right now, and once we are done with it, we are going to try as much as possible to figure out a way to share it to various people of diverse background to be able to get their response and see how accepting they are to the idea.
This is really awesome, Payne. But that's good on the progress with respect to the ideas and things like that. But is there any specific challenge that you have with the team? Is your team have crossed that norming forming that we learned together? Is the team starting to give, whatever the commitment that they can give? Are you able to take this forward?
So with the team in itself have passed the point of getting to know each other. Right now we're kind of used to each other, and there's a sense of collaboration because right now even the survey questions that we're trying to create is like a collaborative kind of piece of documents where everybody kind of inputs the questions that they want to see on the survey. So I would say we're in the stage where everybody is working hand in hand with each other, bringing forth ideas and like getting the team to work with each other. So I say we're in that stage right now.
This is really good, Fane. I'm happy to see that all the things that we learned together on the leadership and everything is coming hand in hand to help you with progressing one step at a time. Happy to hear, Fane. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
I also see someone else newly have joined, Navpreet. Do you wanted to introduce yourself, Navpreet? Hello, can you hear me? All right, no? Okay. All right, so whenever you are able to hear and unmute, wanted to introduce yourself, please do so. Now let's move on to our next leader, Greg. Greg, how is it going?
Yeah, hi, Kada. Well, it's going great. We couldn't meet last week. Just a few of us turned up for the meeting. I know we had a 3-hour session in the morning, which about the AI meetup we had, which was really good. So
you like?
Yeah, it was really good. I totally enjoyed it.
You learned something?
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to tomorrow's meeting.
Perfect.
Yeah, so we didn't discuss much because of the low turnout, and unfortunately, one of our team members dropped out, Adele. So I think generally we're having some challenges that we need to work through. Resolving
Remember that, Greg, I told you last time, right?
Yeah.
One of leadership skill is to understand that people will come and go. You cannot be discouraged.
Yeah.
So you have your destination and you need to find ways to achieve that destination. That's the skill that needs to be developed, we all as a team together.
Yeah.
So don't get discouraged, right? I have reached out to Capgemini to really help to get some mentors to come and help us, right? The team. And today we have two wonderful experienced people. Someone, Swell, she mentioned she's a UX expert. And then Haji, did I get your name right? Haj?
It's
Hello?
Holly. It's Holly.
Holly, did I get your name right now?
Yeah, sorry. I need to figure out how to change the name on the screen.
That's okay. Once you have the account, it will automatically come, right? I'm sharing my screen, right? Then it will become. Holly is an architect, Fane and Greg. So you need architects to put all the building blocks together. So she can help you all as a advisor for your team. You know, you can reach out to her. Make sure that you get her help. She is joined, so don't let her go. And now, Preet, I'm looking forward to hear from you your expertise. So sounds really good, guys. Sandra, yeah, Sandra is joined. Hey, Sandra. Sandra is our third team leader. So, Greg, my advice to you is follow all those things that we learned together as a leadership skills, and continue on this. What we will also, I also recommend you that once you have an idea, then create that idea and do some write up around that and give it to me. Maybe I can help you to kind of put a social media and things like that, so more people can come, whoever are interested can come and join your team, right? So I wanted you to really think like you are a CEO, and whatever is required for you to get your team and get your idea one step at a time to achieve your target. Even if you don't achieve your target, it's okay, because you're going to learn. You have learned so many things since January. By the way, those who have joined newly, this program started since January. You have learned so many things from January, and you're going to learn so many things, till this program is going to end throughout the year. So all these things that you're going to learn is going to make you stronger every week. And even if you don't achieve something, even in this year, next year it will help you to achieve. There are few entrepreneurs who are lucky, right? First time they get hit, but there are so many entrepreneurs. They try. Maybe after 60 years, like KFC owner, right? They get clicked, right? So it's all about consistency and continuing to collaborate with the mindset of continuous learning, and you will be successful. Great. So if anyone in your team gives up, you don't give up, and try to build a team to make this happen. If that attitude you have, maybe this is like a program you're doing, but what will happen is over the period of time, if you develop that skills and attitude, you will become a successful entrepreneur. Maybe there will be a hit and miss for some time, but eventually you will cherish whatever that you're going to achieve as an end result. Okay?
Sure. Thanks.
Perfect. And I'm always there. You can ping me. Whenever you ping me, I try to respond. And if you need me in some cases, I'll also try to join and help you. Feel free to reach out to me anytime, Greg.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Let's now reach out. Let's now give floor to Sandra.
Hi,
By the way,
Heather. Hi, everyone.
Sandra is from Peru. Sandra, go ahead.
Yes, hi, everyone. Well, this week we are developing the marketing research. Also, I enrolled an entrepreneur course from Skillsville, and it helped me a lot because I take some examples in order to build the SWOT document analysis. and made me define the strengths, the weakness, opportunities, and threats. And I am waiting for the feedback of the other members of my team.
This is really good. This is really good. So your team is coming together. All looks good. No challenges, or any challenges that you wanted to share, or any good things that you were able to do which solve those challenges that you wanted to train us or tell us.
Yes. Well, we are 3 members, active members, and I am continue looking for another people that want to join us.
Yeah, you have Swell and Holly, 2 people newly joined today. So all the 3 leaders, you can always go and reach out to them. And likewise, Swell and Holly, if you are interested, reach out to these 3 leaders, understand what they are trying to do. Wherever that you can help join one of the team to make your destiny. That's my wish. And you guys come together, build together, and become successful. That's what end of the day we wanted it to happen.
Yes.
Perfect. Awesome. Okay, so let's we are getting into the second 30 minutes of today's session. So let's learn something together. Right. So I put together something for today, and I know someone is new here. I just wanted to give you a high-level understanding what we are going to learn throughout this year together. So we're going to learn 4 things together, right? So the first thing, we call it as a foundational elements. There are certain things as an individual that you need to learn. We need to learn together. Certain things related to the personal abilities and attributes, certain things related to market, how to make the market your primary focus, and then certain thing. And in parallel, we also have to build offline skills. Sandra kind of mentioned IBM skill build, right? So this is the skill build that we wanted you all to go and register. Those who do not know how to register, you can always ask Sandra and other leaders. They'll help you guys to go and register. So once you register this, you will have access to a lot of courses that you can learn and start building the technical skills. While we are building the personal abilities and attributes, making market your primary focus, in parallel, you should also be building your technical skills, including entrepreneurship, intrapreneurship from those resources that are available out there. And we are in the team looking at how to give you guys access to the IBM resources. And we are still working on that. I know Mickey is leading that effort to work on it. He will reach out to you guys offline to get some input so that this can be organized. Long story short, what we really wanted you to do once you have, okay, IBM skill build is something that you can register for a course, learn, and you can get a badge from IBM, right? And we have given you that platform to do that. Now, in addition to that, what we wanted to do is we wanted to provide you the IBM cloud. So if you log into an IBM cloud, you can actually see, if you wanted to learn AI, you can actually see their APIs that are available and some sample programs that are available. So you can start playing around with the sample programs like chatbot, and then you can start building your own chatbot. Even that could be a good product for you guys. Maybe you can build you can take a sample chatbot and you can build a chatbot for a specific problem that you wanted to solve, right? That's also possible. Those who do not know what is chatbot, it's like, when you go to the website, automatically people ask you questions and you ask questions, they respond and things like that, right? Maybe you can create a chatbot for career, someone to help with their career. I don't know, right? So it's you can really wanted you to play around on that and learn something. My goal is in first 6 months, establish this base, and in the second 6 months, you can really start working on the project, right? So that's my goal. So the first thing that we would be talking about is the foundational element, where whatever that you see here in green is already been covered, and IBM startup is already been worked on, will be provided it to you. Whatever that you see in the black is supposed to be, we all have to be learning together on that, 30 minutes of every Friday. And we started analyzing the industry and competition, and we will try to complete that today. Okay, so this is the first thing that you're going to learn, foundational elements. And then the second thing that you're going to learn is all about product development life cycle, right? So we already kind of went through this at a very high level. And we already kind of understood what is product, what is services, what is solutions, and blah, blah, blah. And then we gave you a big picture of the complete product management lifecycle. And in order for you to get started, because you're all starting on the idea, right? So because you are starting on the idea, you need to understand what the concept phase is and what are all the different questions that you need to answer during the concept phase. We went through that already, and I'm happy to see, Fian, you mentioned you are asking yourself all these questions and you're trying to kind of get an answer for all these questions. That's really awesome. And that's what is the outcome that I was really expecting out of this that we learned together. So the first bucket is the foundational element, and the second bucket that we will learn is all about product management lifecycle. And then the third bucket that we will learn probably, during June timeframe or May-June timeframe is delta of additional skills that you need to become an entrepreneur, like how to make a pitch deck, right? How to make a business plan, how to go and go to the investor, and how to present yourself, right? And even though you don't do it in the first year, but eventually it's going to help you when you have an idea how to take this forward. So that's a third bucket that we will learn, the entrepreneurship. And then the final bucket is ensuring that you guys are able to build a team, develop something, maybe start your own company or give it back to the community. That's the fourth thing. So these are all the four things that I wanted to really achieve this year. And I wanted you all to be together with me, learn from each other, and you also train. Like, for example, Sandra learned something in entrepreneurship. Maybe we should give Sandra, how about Sandra, we give you 15 minutes in next Friday, 15 to 30 minutes, so you can train us what you learned from that entrepreneurship course. How does that sound, Sandra? You be comfortable?
Yes, I could share what I learned. No
Perfect. So next week, Friday, the second 30 minutes, instead of me training, we are going to get trained from you. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So that's a challenge for you to prepare for us. Perfect. So we went through, all the four we have to go through. Right now, where we are is we are in the foundational elements, and we talked about multiple things. We talked about leadership. We talked about teaming, which is very, very important. You learned everything. We talked about RASI matrix, and we talked about leadership. So end of the day, in nutshell, we talked about the definition for products, leadership, team, getting things done. And these two things we will come back. And what we felt in the flow was it's important because you guys are starting to have an idea. Before you did not have an idea. Now you're starting to have an idea. So that means there are a few additional things that you need to do, making the market your primary focus. So we kind of started learning together last week about industry. And today we are going to learn about competition. Okay, so let's move on directly. Let's jump directly to that slide. Just a recap on industry. So did you guys get a chance to go and look at these two links and try to understand a little bit about how in North America different industry sectors has been defined, and how in global industry the different sectors has been defined, and whatever the idea that you have, where does it actually fall into? Have you been able to kind of wrap that through practically to what you learned, what you learned theoretically? Have you been able to practically visualize that? Have any of you done that homework? Team Sandra, Team Finn, and Team Greg? Yes, no, not yet. And you're planning to do?
Not yet. Plan to do it.
Okay. See, this is what is important, right? So whatever we learn, we need to kind of practically see, hey, I have this idea. So Finn, you mentioned you have an idea. Now, where does this idea actually fall into? Which industry are we going to serve? Right? And which sector are we going to serve? Who are all the companies are available or providing the services in that sector? Whatever I'm trying to do, is this something that others are doing? And if others are doing, how they are doing? And whatever I'm trying to do, is it going to be different than what others are doing? But now you have to go through all these things practically. But don't worry, first time nobody is going to get an idea that is so unique and become successful. Nobody is going to get that. But at least you have to relate to what we are learning together in practical as practical aspect and in practical way. That's very, very important. Okay, so do that exercise. It will kind of help you to grow, because as I keep on adding additional knowledge to you guys, it should not be a theoretical knowledge, right? But you should at least, even though you are not going to do that, but at least you should do that exercise to see where you stand based on what we have learned theoretically. Make sense, everyone?
Yeah, it makes sense. I was gonna say, can you paste that link, the link for the global industry classification standard in the chat? Or
Yes, actually, you know, once you are in Microsoft Teams, right, Holly, you will be given access to this chat.
okay. Oh, I'll look for it then, because I have access to it. Thank
All
you.
you got to do is general and go to files, and our all the things that we are learning together is inside business sessions. And then this is the presentation that I'm actually sharing right now.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Perfect. And you can also go through all the things in the before, and you can actually ask Greg or someone to really, if you don't understand or want to learn, you can ask them to learn. Or you can also go through all the videos that we have uploaded of this particular program. So that would be like a lot of videos, but the quick one would be to really get hold of one of the leaders to really learn from them what they understood and so on. Okay, perfect. So that's analyzing the industry. So if you go back and look at the topic that we wanted to cover and make this amber color into the green color is analyzing the industry and competition. So we talked about industry in our last session. Now let's talk about competition. Sandra, you're going to love this, right? Because what you mentioned, SWOT, is what I'm going to talk about here. But the SWOT that you might have read from the entrepreneurship point of view would be a little bit different from the SWOT that I'm going to explain now from the point of view of competition. Okay, so what you would have learned from the entrepreneurship point of view is understanding the strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threat as an entrepreneur who wants to build his company and his product and become successful and profitable. So that's what you would have actually looked at, right? But here, the concept is the same. You need to analyze strength, you need to analyze weakness, and you need to understand how to convert your strengths and weakness into an opportunity and mitigate the threats that are out there so that you can become successful. The concept is the same. The SWOT tool concept as such is the same. But the way that you look at SWOT when you do different things is different, right? So now what I am trying to explain here is looking at SWOT from the angle of competition, analyzing the competition. So now if you look at from that point of view, right, you have an idea, Finn, you have an idea. You understand the industry, you understand the list of companies. You know, just as an exercise, pick 2 or 3 companies who's doing the same thing as the idea that you have. Okay, just for the practical learning purpose, right? You don't have to really become unique, right? You will learn it over the period of time to bring up with a unique product and things like that. That's okay. But at least from the practical point of view, what you need to do is you have a concept and you answered all the concept questions and identify 2 or 3 competitors that have similar products and start thinking from the point of view of SWOT. So now what I wanted you to think. First thing what I wanted you to think is, what is competitor's strength? Not your strength. What is competitor's strength? That's why I said when you look at from the lens of competition, the SWOT definition changes, right? So you have to look at what is the competitor's strength today. It could be a number of things. I will talk about what are all the different aspects that you can look at. Some may be applicable for you guys and some may not be applicable for you guys, right? But I will give you some idea. Even though I try to explain you like you are going to become a 200% an entrepreneur, right? There are so many things that you need to consider, but you don't have, at least from the theory point of view, understand that, but you don't have to really comply to everything. At least pick 2 or 3 and try to practically learn. So from the strength point of view, what your focus should be is to look at the competitors and try to understand what is their strength. Now, what are all the strengths that they have in different categories? And I will talk about that category after. Okay. Then the second thing that you need to look at it is, what is competitors' weakness? Now you need to bring the strength and weakness. What are the points that you noted down, right? For the different factors, you need to bring those strengths and weakness, and you need to turn them into an opportunity for the idea that you have. So let's say you have an idea, and in that idea you have, let's say, 5 things: A, B, C, D, E. Now, the competitor is already doing A, B, C. They have been very successful in that, and they're making a lot of money. Now, you can look at, they are doing ABC, but how can I do that same ABC, which is better than how they are doing? That is what is the attack strategy. That is what is the defend and attack strategy that I talked to you about. Sorry, that I displayed it here. Same thing, weakness. You might see that DE is something that competitors is not doing it, right? And if I do that, how I can be better? So this is how you should think, the SWOT from the competition point of view. What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? Bring that together and practically think, right, how I can turn them into an opportunity. So some of the features that they support in their product, you will also support. Let's say you are also supporting the same feature. Then you go to the customer. They will say, hey, I'm using your competitor product and it supports the same feature as you are supporting. Why should I buy yours? I'm happy with the competitors. Then how are you going to answer them? How are you going to defend them? No, our product is better than your competitor's product. How are you going to defend them? That is called as a defense strategy. Right? You need to think of points, how you are going to answer to a customer who is going to ask you this question. Hey, you are providing a product which has the same product as the current product that I'm using. Why should I buy your product? Then you should have an argument. You should have a positioning to really help that particular customers to rethink buying your product. That is called as a defense strategy. An attack strategy is mainly comes from the weakness. You can actually say, hey, the competitors do not have D and E. I have it. And you should buy me. Right? So this is what the difference between the attack strategy and the defense strategy. And you need to really come up with some bulleted points which can really help you to turn the strengths and weaknesses of the competitors into an opportunity for you. So all the customers that you go behind comes to you and buys your product. Well, if you have an idea that no other competitor has, then yeah, of course you are unique and you have become an innovator. Actually, not an innovator, you become an inventor. So let me ask you the questions. Probably I've asked these questions before. What is the difference between innovator and inventor? Is something that I wanted you to go back and research. I know that I gave the same explanation before to you guys, but I go back and refresh your memory. What is the difference between an innovator and an inventor? What is the difference between an innovation and an invention? Okay, but coming back to our SWOT analysis, you have to somehow make the strengths and weaknesses into an opportunity for you. This exercise you should do practically to really have that feel of what you're doing is really convincing you for what you're doing. Then finally, there is always going to be a threat. Okay, so when you talk about threat, there is known threats, right? Sometimes they call it as a known threats. So you know exactly, well, the competitor also has the same feature like me, and I'm going to reduce the price so I can get the customer, but the competitor also is going to reduce the price. So that's a known threat, known threat, right? And then you have known unknown threat. Like I'll give you another example, right? So let's say a Canadian government is trying to stop something, and you know that, but you believe that Canadian government is not going to do that. So it's like known and unknown, right? So that's that you have to understand, is there any known and unknown threats like that you have? And then finally, there is something called as an unknown and unknown. You can't do anything about it, right? Like a natural disaster and things like that. But there are some known unknown you have to be very careful with. Like, for example, if you wanted to build a product and deploy it in some Africa, right? And you cannot build a product that's going to be very expensive. Or if you're going to build a product and you're focusing on, let's say, a woman audience, right? A female audience, then you cannot do something that's going to offend them. So there's number of known unknown threats are there. You got to be very, very careful. Like in Coca-Cola, I know that some time ago the C symbol was something misinterpreted as a some Arabic language, and in some Muslim countries they banned it. So you got to be, it's not about just building the product, right? But it is also about understanding the factors that surrounds, right? It could be social factor, economical factor, political factor. I can go on and on. You should look at all these things and then make a right decision. Because there's so many ideas, people come up with so much of excitement and they start building it. And then when they wanted to release it, they realize, well, the government doesn't allow us to do this. And then the whole thing goes away. So it's not just about coming up with an idea, have a technical skill and building the product and going to the market. It's all about understanding the threats surrounding it so that you can be successful in the idea that you're trying to come up with and build. So these are the 4 things that I wanted you to practically think and map to what you're trying to do. So you can learn something out of this, and practically you are able to relate to whatever that you're doing towards this SWOT analysis for the competition. Okay, now I will give you some hints, right? Not a lot of them, but I will give you some hints. What kind of a question that you need to really ask yourself, right? What competitors do and how they do. This is something that you need to really ask yourself. And there is a number of factors that you can ask yourself. Some may be applicable for you, some may not be applicable for you. But I gave you some examples, right? Like, for example, how do they operate their company? Even this is very, very important, right? Like, for example, if some of your, let's say you are building a product and your competitor is also building a product. And now let's say they are selling that product as a downloadable license. So that's an example, right? How they operate their company, right? And downloadable license, and they work with their end customers to create an ordering system to kind of pay them so that they can get the product and download it, install it locally in their system. So now if you can think of, okay, this competitor is doing that. I will not probably do that. Let me do it as a software as a service. You see what I mean? That's what converting the strengths and weaknesses into an opportunity. So you can ask a question like, how do they operate their company? Where are they located? Even where are they located? For example, if they are located in US, their cost of production is going to be very high. If they are located in China, and whatever that you are going to invest money here and build, the product cost is going to be high, and you can never go against them if you really do not have a value proposition that really kills their product. So these are all some of the examples, right? You can ask yourself, how do they operate their company? I'll give you another example. How do they produce their product? Do they use manual automation? Do they use AI? Do they store the data in a normal database, or do they store the data in the blockchain? That is a non-mutable database. All these things makes a difference. How do they distribute their product? I already gave an example, right? The distribution and the operation. I took a distribution as an example for the operation. You can even consider operations in bigger companies. Sometimes they look at it. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. One company can look at another company and say, hey, these guys are doing a waterfall model, and let me do an agile model in building the product. That's the operations, right? and you can actually say they are actually recruiting the people and they are giving so much of facilities. And let me recruit the people and let me give double the facilities than they give, so I have a better people than them. Right? That could be another example for how do they operate their company. How do they distribute the product? I already kind of told you an example, SaaS model or a hosted model and things like that. How do they promote and sell their product? Like for example, recently I looked at a tool called Meet Alfred, right? And when I looked at it, I was very impressed that they charge per month something like per year something like $1,000, and you can divide that per month, right? Approximately $80, let's say. And if you refer someone else to come and buy the product using your reference key, they give you $10 off monthly. So if you are able to refer 10 people, you get the product for free. That's a good example as how do they promote and sell their product. Understanding competitors, how do they promote and sell their product is very, very important. How do they service and support their customers? I was looking at another product which was called Calendly. Calendly, right? If you don't know, you can actually go and look it up. Calendly. So what does it allow is people like me, I have 2-3 calendars. I don't have one calendar. And the biggest problem that I have is, I get double booked, triple booked. And I end up saying no. So I need a solution which can actually take all these calendar and make sure that whenever I send this link to someone else, like for example, I'm sending it to Sandra. Sandra, when she's trying to book a meeting with me, it gives her a slot that is open considering all the 3 calendars that I have. So I'm not double booked. So this is that product called Calendly, right? And when I looked at it, I had certain questions and I was looking at if there is any online chat. There was no online chat. Everything is supported through forums and through emails. There was no online chat. There was no phone calls. So this is a good example. How do they service and support their customers? Maybe it is working for them, for their business model. They don't really need to go for the phone and things like that. It is a very educated and calculated decision to provide the service and support to their customers that way, right? But this is a good example to understand how a competitors are servicing and supporting their customers. Can you do differently so that your product is used by the customers, recommended by the customers, and more purchased by the existing customers? What are the primary technologies they are using? Very old Java or latest technologies like React.js? In a bigger companies, what is even going on their mindset of the employees? Is the employees are happy or not happy? Because all these things is going to help. See, you don't understand. The point is, if a company has an unhappy employee, the product output that you are going to get is not going to be a quality one. It's never going to be a quality one. Right? So I gave you some of the examples, right? So you need to think about additional examples and you need to really identify and get into the depth of the competition. So the best learning, I'll tell you in one statement, the best learning place for you is the competition. You can learn 80% of good things from your competition. And the remaining 20% that you're going to differentiate yourself is going to make you successful. So these are some of the examples of analyzing the competition. Okay. Now, what I also did for you guys to help you is, if you go to the Testoper project general, and then if you go to the business session, and if you go to the tools, I referred few books and I tried to theoretically create. I think we already have seen opportunity statement and competitor feature comparison sheet, but let me show you this just to give you a base work, right? But trust me, you are innovators. You can create your own templates based on your own requirement and you can fill it in. There is no one standard rule. I don't believe in one standard rule. I believe in customizing whatever is applicable for you to make your work successful, right? That's what is critical. But however, to enable you, I just created a simple chart here, right? If you wanted to compare the product feature by features. You can put your product, what you're going to do, and different competitors' product, and you can compare. Right? This is some example just from the point of view of features, but you can extend this to any other things that you wanted to do that we talked about, right? Operations, employee, technology, and whatnot, right? You can expand that. Then what I also did for you to offline learn is something called as a competitor analysis dossier template. Okay, I try to give you some kind of an idea as to what are all the things that you can think through, right? But you don't have to really follow this 100%, right? But whatever is applicable, you can pick up. But I kind of put something here. I'll just give you an example, right? If you are doing a competitor analysis for a competition, you can put their name, URL, and their profile, where they're located, what phone numbers, who are the key executives, what are all the different divisions that they have, what that company actually does. You can take it from I also gave an example from the website. You can take it, what that company as a whole they do, which industry this company is focusing on. This is something that we already talked about, right? Industries, sectors, subsectors, and that this company is focusing about. Identify and discuss the brand image. What kind of a brand image they have? What kind of market acceptance they have? What is the reputation of this company? And if you look at it, if you don't know, right, there is a big crowd of people who are analysts who basically analyze different companies and they give comments about different companies, right? What is the analyst opinion about this company? What is the people's opinion about this company? What do they say about this company? What is their strategic posture? What is their mission? What is their vision? We already talked about mission, vision in our previous session, right? Just to give you a representation of what we discussed, refresher as what we discussed. Vision is something that you wanted to do in longer term, and mission is something that you wanted to achieve today to achieve that longer term vision. And sometimes vision is also called as massive transformative purpose in a small single phrase. So understand what is the strategy of your competition. What kind of a customers that they have? Do they have a B2B customers? Who are their top customers? And etc. etc. Who buys their product? How they buy their product? I try to give some examples here for you to ask yourself some questions. And what is the customer satisfaction? How are their customers satisfied? Are they satisfied? Are they dissatisfied? Remember the weakness that I talked about. Some of these questions you can read through and answer them. How do they position their product? Do they position their product to a group of people, students, youth, female, immigrants? How do they position their product? And how am I going to position my product? What is their market share? Market share is a new word that I'm introducing today, right? I will talk about it in future, more about it. But just to kind of help you guys to understand what market share at a very high level is, any business that you do, it has a market share. As an example, a toothbrush, okay? Every person, assuming, right? I'm assuming, right? It's not 100% because a lot of people don't use toothbrush. They use sticks and many things in many developing countries and so on. But let's say in Canada, we are 30 million people, and each person is going to replace the toothbrush once in 3 months. So in a year, a person is going to have 4 toothbrush, and we are 30 million. So 120 million toothbrushes are going to be sold in Canada, and each toothbrush is $10. Right? It's $1.2 billion market. That is the total market size. And now the brush competitor A, looking at their financial statement, they are making X amount of million. Another paper is making X amount of million. This is what is called as a market share. 30% of this, 1.2 billion is made by this company A. Another 20% is made by B. 5% is made by C. So try to understand their market share. That will give you an idea as to how much money you can make. If you decide to come up with an idea to make a toothbrush, This is the market size that you are looking at. And how can you make a toothbrush that is so unique that people are going to buy from you and you can earn money out of this $1.2 billion market share? So that's what it is, market share and coverage. Who are their competitors? Like, you are looking them as a competitors, but they are also looking someone else as a competitors. It's important for you to understand that. And are they just selling toothbrush or also selling toothpaste? If they are selling toothpaste and if they package toothpaste and toothbrush together and they reduce the price, they have an upper hand to sell than you going with only toothbrush to sell. So that means you got to create some magic in your toothbrush to really make the people to buy. So that's market mix, right? There are some things that are there. I wanted you to read through this as an offline, which will help you to kind of develop your thought process. How do they price it? How do they promote it? How do they sell it? They actually sell it like Tesla. Tesla is like, you know, you go to an Apple store and buy a phone, right? It's the same thing. You go to the Tesla storeroom and you buy like a phone, you buy a Tesla. But if you want to go and buy an Audi, you are actually Audi or Honda, you're actually going to the distributor and the distributor is selling it. So that means what? Distributor is getting a commission. So if I'm going to go through the distributor channel, my margin is going to reduce because I have to give him the commission. If I'm going to directly sell, then I can do more for the end customer. Like Tesla is providing the free charging for lifetime. And they don't go through distributors, they directly sell because they avoid the cost that they want to give to the distributors and they're giving the value to the customers. See the ideas, how they think. So how do they promote their product? How do they distribute their product? What are they saying in their blogs and how others are rating them in their blogs? What do you hear from their former employees? What do you read from them in the media? If you answer all these questions, you can start building your SWOT. Once you have your SWOT, you can make an intelligent decision and you can conclude on the strategies. What do you want to do with your product? That is what exactly that I was talking to you about here. Strength, weakness, and opportunities. I will stop here. We are 4 minutes over. I will stop here. Did we all learn something today?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, definitely.
Perfect. Now what we are going to do is, I know that I'm dumping you guys more and more new things. And I wanted to stop dumping, right? Next 2 to 3 weeks, Friday, what we will do is, we will focus on one of you to train all of us. So we will start with Sandra. She's going to train us in our next week. And then we will figure out next week, someone else in our team is going to train us. If nobody is going to come forth, I will continue training, right? The 30-minute slots that we have. But that's what we're going to do for the next 3 weeks. And if you need, maybe what we can do is we can take a break for a week. Like now next week, let's have the Sandra to train. And then what we can do is we can take a break for 1 or 2 weeks. And we can ask each of you team members to have your own team meeting during this time frame. If you are having a trouble to schedule a meeting outside of this time frame, maybe what we can do is we can allocate the same time frame after next week's session for next 2 weeks for all of you to come together as a team and use this time slot together to build. And I will leave it to you to the choice how you wanted to do. I will be happy to support in whichever way that you wanted to do. All right. So let's close for today. And I'm happy that you all learned together. And now go and read these things and think practically to what you're doing. Even if you're not 100% compliant, don't worry, but think practically. Always relate to what you're trying to do to all the theory that you're learning. I'm trying to give you as many as practical examples to make you understand. But however, it is important that you learn by yourself relating this idea to those what I have taught you. And remember, we have 2 new attendees today. And both the attendees go to this team and team leaders go to these attendees and see if you all can come together and get this going and build this together. And I'll come back to you with additional mentors and IBM platform as we sort that out in coming weeks. That will give you an additional platform for you to learn and practically build chatbot or whatever that you wanted to build. Okay. So having said that, let's close this session. You all have a wonderful week. And I know some of you all are attending the AI session tomorrow. And I wanted to attend and I wanted to learn. It's been a while to refresh my knowledge, and I'm going to join. And I'm looking forward each one of you to join there as well and learn artificial intelligence next 6 weeks. So both my learning and our learning together in this session, and that learning can come together to help you moving forward to realize your idea into the practical products, designs, and outcome. Okay. Have a great evening. Take care, and I'll talk to you all guys very, very soon, and see you all tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.
Thanks, Skylar.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye and thanks.
Thank you.